They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
What's going on, y'all? First off, up top, go to TreyCrowder.com to grab tickets. This weekend, we're going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Ron Robinson Theater. And then, refresh my memory, boys. When are we going to be in Asheville and Knoxville? I think you can find
May 21st-ish, May 20th and 21st. That's what it is.
There you go. Yeah, and go to TreyCrowder.com and grab those tickets. This will be, Drew Dead. Trey, I don't know if I told you, but I'm bringing me wife and me baby, so it's going to be a real fun trip for me. This is definitely his first road trip. I did want to ask you, like,
yeah. Well, I'm going to be with you, so it'll be a fun trip for me too.
Yeah.
Can I ask what inspired that decision? By the way, you're not going to spend time in Little Rock, are you? You're just like going there doing the show, and then you're going back, right?
Yeah. I just want them to be with me. Like, I haven't, like, it. I thought when I was looking at these dates, I was like, oh well, like, I'll be wanting to break from them by then, so this will be fine. And turns out that's just not the case. Like, I'm like a real big worry wart. Like, I still go on my walks in the park, but like, I'm checking in with Amber every 20 minutes that she doesn't text me, because I'm like, what's going on? Everything fine? Is he breathing? You know what I mean? Shit like that. So she had mentioned she would kind of like to get out of the house, and I was like, hey, we'll see how this goes. But it's just making it a little more mentally healthy for me, having my family with me. So, you know, I could end up regretting it. I'm aware of that. But when was the first time that y'all took Bishop or Benton on like a road trip, like in the car?
We took them to Katie's parents' house very early on, which was like, when we lived in Knoxville, Wayne County was like 4+ hours away. So, I mean, that's right. pretty far. And it was a bit nightmarish. But, you know,
were they otherwise calm babies and it just blew up on the road?
Bishop was always the calmest baby. Yeah, Benton not so much. And that's the other thing. We had 2, so like it was really up in the air whether one of them would be, pissed off or not. Yeah, no, it's like my thing is, I just know that it's like it's a pain in the ass, like to do the whole thing. And when it's like, to me, it's like just to drive down there and turn around and drive back. It's just easier just to not.
I hear you.
If you're going to grandma's house,
yeah, right.
That's not an option. You got to bring the baby to grandma's house, But like, or if you're taking like a long trip or something like that, then I get it. But I just wouldn't.
So I'm making a mistake, is what you're saying.
I would not have fooled with it. I mean, yeah, but maybe not. I mean, I could be wrong.
I want you to meet him. I want you and Drew to meet him.
But I mean, just based on my experiences and shit, I would say that's not super worth it, the trouble.
Well, again, it's not like I talked her into it. She fucking said, maybe I'll go with you. And knowing me, I'm just like, hey, the more I'm with y'all, the better for me. But then also, don't you think that like as a comedian, part of me needs that experience, whether it go bad or not? I know why you're mad. It's because you're going to be there. Like if I was by myself, you'd be like, "It's a great idea, Joe. Do it up. Live with your family."
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. If if I wasn't going to be riding with me and you asked me what I thought about doing that, I would have told you. I would be like, yeah, I wouldn't fool with that for one night. It's the one night part that really is, because it's like 7 hours each way for you guys, right? And you're turning around and coming back the next day. So you're talking about like a 32-hour window, 14 hours of which you're going to spend in the car with a newborn, right? Like kind of just because.
Yeah, well, because I don't want to leave him.
Right, I know. And that is sweet. That's sweet. But it's also like, you're going to have to at some point.
Yeah, I know, but not now.
Okay.
Like probably when
Drew, you've been playing basketball?
14, be a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been playing
and
ball?
I didn't even, like I came like straight here and got on my computer, and then my computer kind of crashed. And man, I just came straight from playing ball.
you look like there's such a thin line between you looking like a legit athlete that just played ball right now, which you do, but also it looks like you're about to do a character. Like you're just handsome enough where I'm like, okay, well, no, he could have just been playing ball.
Well, yeah, this is goofy, but see, when I take it off, I got like the weirdest hat hair. I look like Wes Anderson for sure. But yeah, to your point, as far as like, yeah, man, I'm not jockey or good looking enough for that role, and I'm not silly enough for that role. So thanks for that.
Well, that's not what I said at all. I said you were 100%
true, though. That's what I'm saying. Like you're too handsome to look goofy and too goofy to look handsome.
I mean, I feel like I'm in the same boat. Not for like I don't mean for like playing like a jock
losing weight was a
I
mistake on your part. So you should have got fat, grew that hair out.
But I'm not goofy enough to.
But you grew that hair out, dude. Get a neck beard.
Yeah, maybe. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm a tweener in that regard for sure, which don't hit. See, this goes back to the age old conversation. Joe knows where it's going. You know, this is like right. You on the other hand, tailor made for one of those two columns, and yet you run away from it.
What do you mean? I play goofy all the fucking time.
I know, but you want to be skinny and goofy is what we're saying. It's like, Well,
I want to be healthy and goofy for the rest.
You try to do the second half of Chris Pratt's career before the first half of Chris Pratt's career.
I know. I've thought about that a lot because like me and, Robbie had always had this thing where he's like, dude, you got to be fat when you start. Like if you're fat when you start and then you lose weight, everyone will think you're handsome just because they're comparing you to when you were fat when you start. But I just didn't actually ever get famous. And then I was like, I'm going to have a heart attack. So I'm just trying my best. I've put on a little weight since the baby, but I've drank so much and I need to quit. I just can't help it.
Yeah. Plus that titty milk's real caloric.
It's so calorie dense and delicious.
Let me tell you about an experience I've had in the opposite direction, just to show you how much getting older sucks in every regard or whatever. Is that I wanted to talk to y'all about this anyway. I already told Drew this a couple weeks ago, but like I heard this smart person on a podcast say, "This is Jordan Peterson? Amount. This is the amount of." No, he's not Jordan Peterson, but I haven't looked into him further. But I fear he might be Peterson adjacent, but I don't know. Because I heard him on Two Bears. I love Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, right.
And they had this dude on there. His name's Andrew Huberman. I don't know anything about him. I just know he's a smart dude, and he's a neurologist or neuroscientist or neuro something another. Mm-hmm. And again, he may be a Jordan Peterson type motherfucker, and if he is, whatever. My apologies. I don't know. All I know is he was talking about brain stuff. He wasn't talking about politics stuff. He's talking all about brain stuff and body stuff, and he's a scientist or whatever. And I heard this one dude say one time. He was like, recent studies indicate that we need at least 180 minutes per week of both high intensity cardio and strength training, right? To see like legitimate results or whatever. Now that's a lot. That's 3 hours of each per week, right?
Right.
So I started like doing that, making sure I was doing that. And what that means. So for me, that was like 7 days. I've been doing 7 days a week for a long time, but I'd take it easy on certain days or whatever. Yeah. But I started doing like 45 minutes of hardcore cardio on the bike. And then the next day would be an hour of strength training, full body, upper and lower. So squats, deadlifts, all that shit, and upper body shit. And I was doing that. And then no rest, no nothing, just do one day, do one the next day. Right. After a week or so of that, my legs was, real sore and, and like fatigued. And I was like, I know what this means. You just got to push through that, right? You got to push through that. So I kept going. And I have spent the last week in like, not agony, but fits of sleepless hell because of what? Because
but not agony, just fits of sleepless hell.
Yes, because of what? Because it's not pain; it's like extreme restless discomfort is what it is. But it's not painful. But my legs, the state my legs have been in, right? Because my legs were screaming at me, "Hey, take it easy, motherfucker. You're 37 or whatever, And I didn't listen, and I kept doing the same thing for like another week. And at the end of that week, my legs were like, "We done, we're out."
Yeah.
And my legs have just been fucked for the past week, like where I can't, like laying in bed. They're like pins and they just, I can't explain how it feels. They feel wild.
I feel you. Yeah.
And it's like, it makes me unable to sleep, which has been driving me insane. And, but I stopped. That ended a couple of days ago because I backed off and I ain't done nothing but stretch and, you know, do a little yoga or whatever for the past couple of days. And that, seems to have taken care of it. But I guess all I'm saying is like, you know, you can't just do what like
you can't.
Like even if you want to like go hard, and even if you can like make yourself go hard, and then you feel like I'm going hard, that's great. No, you do that too much, you know,
especially
older, or you age. don't hit too much or whatever. Yeah, your body will push back, and it's been a real pain in the ass. So that's a little PSA for everybody. If you feel like your body's sending you signals, you should not call it a queer and keep going. You should instead listen to it.
I literally today was like stretching before playing basketball, and my back was like, "Hey, don't do this."
Yeah.
And my brain was like, "Fuck you, bitch."
Mm-hmm.
And my back was like, "Nah, but for real." And then even the top of my butt was like the glute was like, "No, he ain't kidding, no." Because I've been trying to, and like I'm pulling extra weight, and I'm gonna be honest, it's like inflamed right now. Like, you know that feeling like where it feels like it's itchy, but it's a painful itch, where it's not. It's like dull, but it's deep. And yeah, I don't like listening to my body personally.
No, I don't.
Nobody tell me what to do, let alone my body. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
When we were younger, you could just be hurt and do things, and it was fine. But now, like, dude, if
Still
you're like,
is.
yeah, but if you are hurt, you should not do a thing. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I'd been working out or doing whatever, and I kind of tweaked my shoulder a little bit, and I was like, okay, I don't need to do nothing. And then my buddies would be like, "Yo, you want to play golf today?" And I'll be like, "Sure do." That you don't use your shoulder in that, and then I go sling my shoulder 120 times, 85 times on the fucking course, and it gets worse. And I'm like, I don't get it, man. Like, I thought I'd just be able to just throw that pain out, you know, but it got worse.
Play through it. Yeah.
Play
also,
through it.
While you were talking, I did a little research. It appeared from Reddit that Uberman tries to keep his politics real close to the vest. But people think that he is fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
That usually is what that means every time when someone's
the
like,
other thing I'll say, and I don't know if this is true, but another thing, while I was listening to that interview with him, Drew, I told you this already, but he was like, Segura was asking him his background, and he kept like, and he was like, well, so his last name is Huberman, right? Keeping that in mind. It's one letter off from Uberman, which Drew just accidentally, like a Freudian slip, called him. But his name's Huberman. He's like, well, actually, my family's from Argentina, right? Ooh. And I like perked up, and I was like, German ass sounding name, white dude from Argentina, huh? That's interesting. And then, and then Segura keeps poking. He's like, well, my dad's from Argentina. And he's like, oh, how'd your dad end up in Argentina? And he's like, well, my granddad was a scientist who moved to Argentina, right? And I'm like, okay, all right. It's like it's a number of red flags with skulls and swastikas on them. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they were just regular white German people who moved to Argentina roughly 80 years ago for science reasons.
I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I mean,
he could have been running from the Nazis or something.
Yeah.
But that Argentina's a hell of a place to pick if you're trying to, you know what I mean? If you're running from the Nazis after World War II.
I think I've told a version of this before, but I worked at a steakhouse in Australia, and it was a South African barbecue style steakhouse. And the owner and his wife had moved to Australia in like 1993, which is a year before that regime fell apart. And we were all like, well, so South Africa moved here in 93. And then like the more we worked there, it was like, yeah, this guy's awful. And then we researched him. You know, this wasn't like, we didn't have phones back then. It's not like an automatic thing you do. We went to the library to research him on a computer, almost for shits and giggles. and he had been arrested in Australia for breaking slavery laws.
What?
For a guy that owned slaves?
So he had he didn't even what he did was he would have his chefs come from South Africa to work there. He would make them all live like 9 deep in a 1-bedroom and work 80 or 90 hours a week, and threaten that if they didn't do it for like almost no pay, he would not give them. So your boss, unfortunately, has a lot of sway over you getting or keeping your work visa in Australia. Yeah. So, like, I guess the theory is like, well, this guy might come here and then just not do the job anymore. So he's like, basically like, I'll tell the Australian government that you quit if you don't listen to me. Well, one of them somehow got a girlfriend in spite of the fact that he was working 90 hours a week, and she was a law student, and he had to like pay them all like 80 grand a piece. Now, he didn't go to jail. We still work for him. This had happened 4 years before that. But
Jesus,
it's just, my point is, yeah, sometimes if it quacks like a duck, you know.
Well, do you remember that guy we met that we told the story before, a very long time ago, with that blackjack dealer at that casino who was South African and who kept dropping all these clues, including he had moved in 93 or whatever and all this stuff. And it became ever more clear that he was absolutely an apartheid supporter or whatever. Yeah. But I was on a major heater, so I was like, let's just see how this plays out. You know, whatever. Like you were wanting to get away from the table. We got to get away from this guy or whatever. I was like, hold on now. Like, let's not be rash. I'm up
let's try to get him money. Yeah.
Try to get him fired.
Well, speaking of apartheid and Nazis and all that stuff, Tucker Carlson.
Please throw to a sponsor.
Do what?
Today, you can get 88% off. HH.
Yeah. No, Tucker Carlson, I don't know if he announced it or Fox announced it today today as we're recording it, not as y'all are listening to it. Him and Fox News have parted ways, which I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever thought I would see that. What was y'all's shock level on that?
Drew, go ahead.
Man, I haven't thought about that. I don't think that was the emotion I felt, but like if you ask me, does that surprise you? I'd be like, yeah, for sure. I think he was their flagship. Maybe Hannity's number one.
For sure.
Number two.
No, I think Tucker became
Tucker's number one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Overtook Hannity.
Yeah, so I think that, look, Fox News is bigger than everybody there, and they make that very clear, kind of like ESPN does, so that part's not shocking. When I first heard it, I was like, really? Then some more stuff came out. It has something to do with a lawsuit against Tucker and his producer. They were both fired. That lawsuit must be wild. Either that or they wanted to get rid of Tucker and they finally got an excuse. And I could see that because privately, Tucker has like ruffled feathers and sort of rocked the boat. Not publicly, he's always supported Fox, but privately, he's like talk shit on him, talk shit on how they won't let him, talk shit on Trump. So, yeah, I don't know. I was a little surprised.
Yeah, me too. I mean, of course, I was surprised. Mark keeps saying like there's got to be something going on we don't know, which I'm sure is true. So since we still haven't found out what that thing is yet, if we ever find out, I don't know. Like if it's related to some kind of if it's like misbehavior, like if it's some Bill O'Reilly shit or whatever, like it's got to be pretty fucking
was
pretty
Bill O'Reilly's
egregious.
Sexual harassment, was that his whole thing, or
just regular abuse, or both? I can't remember. Like I was talking about this on my Patreon earlier. It was something like that. It's funny that it's like, but who could keep track? You know what I mean?
Well, no, that is an interesting point though, because Drew brought that up in the text thread earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, Bill O'Reilly totally did get fired, and because like I came in hot, being like, oh dude, I mean, fuck Tucker, but like independently, he's going to be fine. He's going to get like a huge Spotify deal. And Drew made the point of like, well, they fired Bill O'Reilly and you haven't really heard of him since, except for every year he puts out like a Killing Marilyn Monroe, book or whatever the fuck. But I don't know. Tucker just feels like to me at one point him and Bill O'Reilly were like in the same boat, but then Tucker Carlson has somehow sort of surpassed that. And I think it was because like he was younger, he was more vibrant. He had like, to me, it was just like, we're going to see Tucker in this spot until we are old and gray,
Tucker also, he really did try to at least present a populist. I mean, he even sort of infamously made the argument that he would be fine with Bernie Sanders if Bernie didn't kowtow to like immigrants and the gays and trans people. And he was like, maybe I'd be okay with a socialist party if it was more for regular Americans. Maybe I would be okay with and he literally said a socialist party that was nationalist, which is what a Nazi is.
Hilarious. Yeah, right.
My point though is Tucker separated himself from Bill generationally as far as boomers versus whoever the fuck was above boomers and Gen X. Bill O'Reilly,
the greatest generation.
So Bill O'Reilly was like old boomers and greatest generation Republican, or at least that's who he was a piece of shit, but that's who he presented himself to. We've got to do the right thing and God and country. And Tucker was very much like the working man. Now, obviously all of it was bullshit, but Tucker did take some shots at big companies and stuff. So I think that's why Tucker's star rose personally, is because he saw what Trump was what was making Trump popular, and he dived in it a little bit, even though he hated Trump.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter too much in the end either way for either entity. Like, I think that Fox News will just slide somebody else in there and keep doing their thing, and it won't really matter. And I think as far as Carlson, it's like, it's totally up to him. Like you were talking about Spotify deal or whatever, like whatever he wants in that realm, he can do, and he can be as big as he wants to be. If he wants to fuck off forever, he can do that too. And it's sort of up to him. But I don't think it's going to change very much is all I'm saying. Like in terms of anything, I think people will follow him. Fox News will stay what it is. And
I think his influence will reduce. And the reason I think that is Bill O'Reilly's still relevant, but not that relevant. Glenn Beck is still relevant, but not that relevant.
Yeah, right.
That blonde lady whose name I can't even, Megan
Kelly,
still relevant, but not that relevant. Like the machine that is Fox News is bigger. He'll still have sway if he goes to Spotify and does a podcast. We were joking he should do it with Don Lemon, who also got fired. Remember when Farrah Fawcett died the same day as Michael Jackson?
Same thing.
But
that's kind of hit for Don Lemon, right? Or you think his ego is pissed off about it?
I don't know. He probably wants a little of the liberal outrage
that's
now.
A good fucking question.
Yeah, but we don't. But that's we're not.
Yeah, we don't
nobody
give a
on the
shit.
left is going to do that. We don't generally we don't do that for the most
right.
part.
We're like, fucking CNN sucks too. Who gives
cultish
a shit?
R words.
I will say that DL Hughley had a tweet that hit. This hit for me as a structured joke or point. I have no idea what he's talking about. But he wrote, white guy got fired for lying. Black man got fired for telling the truth. No clue what that's about, but I was all right, I'll put my fist in the air, whatever, DL.
Yeah, because I'm not I literally have no place to talk about Don Lemon because I only know who he is. Like, I don't know any of the reasons that he may have got fired, and I think I speak for all three of us when I'm not the type of person who generally goes, oh, they're on my team, therefore they are infallible, and I will follow them to the end of the earth. You know what I mean?
No, but he did once compliment my cowboy boots, so,
he's okay in my book.
He's got to be a pretty all right guy. I'm just saying.
Well, the head of the case,
he's been just fucking raping and, just
well, that's what I was going to say.
Terrorizing everybody. I'm like,
the head of the Klan in my town,
so he's not all
my
bad,
cousin, but...
Yeah, well, that's two bad things, though.
Yeah,
or like it hit for you to have your cousin be fucked. I don't.
Yeah, dude, somebody needs to. That girl needs it, man.
I believe in the favor by fucking your cousin. I get it.
I believe in the Kama Sutra. That's called the Wabash Cannonball. I believe. I'm not certain. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah,
Isn't that a Dollywood ride?
Is it? I know that.
I know it's a song and maybe a movie.
Well, you hear George Jones in the song, Who's Gonna Fill Their Shoes? He goes, who's gonna play the Opry and the Wabash Cannonball? So I assume it was also a venue at one point or like a festival,
Hey, isn't it a run too? Isn't it a race?
What'd you say, both of you?
There's also a race.
Oh,
Cannonball Run's a movie.
Cannonball Run is a movie, yes.
Okay.
The Wabash Cannonball, because a ball is an event. So it sounds
true.
like a Wabash. Is it
Wabash
Canyon?
Cannon.
Wabash Canyon Ball.
No, it's Cannonball. It's Wabash Cannonball is a song by Boxcar Willie.
There you
now,
go.
I'm reading this. This isn't like, you know.
That man knew
And
calculus.
It's about a race from New York all the way to, I don't know. It's about driving across country, and that's why they turned it into a race, which then became a movie. That's how I think it
Boxcar
went.
Willie, the famous hobo, had.
Yep, I believe so.
Yeah. Had
My
songs.
guess is
He was topping the charts.
my
Topping the
guess
charts
is
from the rails in between eating boot chili. And
yeah. My guess is one of those people took the name from the other. And
Yeah.
looking at the race of this Boxcar Willie, I would say he's the thief.
I don't
Well,
know
there
how
you
to
go.
interpret that. I don't know what kind of racist you're trying to be exactly. Because, like, you know, if you,
Well, it's
'cause if
identity
your
theft.
papaw said
It's
that-
appropriation.
Okay, all right,
It's
all right,
appropriation.
Okay,
So
he's
who
white.
does that?
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Who
gotcha.
steals culture?
Yeah, clear.
Papaw.
Yes, gotcha. I'm just
Oh, the
saying.
British.
Yeah,
Yeah,
White people.
he's Dutch.
Cannonball Willie? Or Steamboat
Boxcar
Willie?
Willie.
Boxcar Willie.
I'm
Fuck, man.
kidding.
All these Willies associated with various mechanisms of
forms
transportation.
of transportation. Yeah, it was a big thing back in the
I knew a Willie.
back in the days.
His name
before
was
color.
Willie Wilkinson.
Oh,
And,
yeah?
he's a flat earther now. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, some of them are, you know.
That's the only
They
Willie
just-
I knew.
Man, I'm trying to think
Yeah.
if I knew any Willies. I don't think I knew any Willies.
He
I
was,
gotta-
I think,
Bills
like half
and-
Hispanic.
Bills
Really?
and Billies.
He had moved back to town. Like his mama was from our area, and he had moved back when he was like 8 or so, as I recall. He was a real good dude. Dude, he gets in fights with people on my stuff, and then I defend him when they're mean to him.
Like he comes on your shit, like fighting with people who are praising you, and then you're like, hey, man, this just Hispanic Willie. Y'all leave him alone.
He says, you know, like, okay, but have you seen this? And it's like a flat earth thing. And then people are
Yeah.
like, get a load of this fucking idiot. What a dumbass. And then he's like, you don't know me and you shouldn't judge people. And I'm like, Willie's a good dude. Leave him alone.
Yeah. How?
But I feel like the post itself is kind of all they need to know to call him a dumbass. If it's flat
Yeah.
earth stuff. Like,
I mean, he would go
Exhibit
further.
A, Your Honor.
They
you
would
know,
go
like-
further than that, as I recall.
Yeah.
So how much have you talked to Willie about the flat Earth stuff? Because I've read
not
stuff.
at all. I said he's
Oh,
a
really?
nice guy.
Oh, right. Okay, fair. Because I've just always been curious. Like, you see the flat Earth stuff on Reddit, and like, I've just never been able to figure out what the end game for these people is. Like,
We had the main guy or one of the main guys on Into the Biscuit during the pandemic.
no shit.
And yeah, and I could, yeah, man, I think I told y'all about this. I thought him and DJ might go at it or whatever, you know, and I was
You
just kind of
think?
sitting back. But dude, it was so weird that, like, I felt guilty. Like the next episode, we had to kind of explain ourselves. It was like, listen, the reason we didn't argue with this, guys, it was so insane. It was so much more insane than I thought it was going to be. Because
Right.
he started talking about a dome and projecting the moon and the sun.
Yeah.
And the reason
Yeah.
they do it, I don't remember
heard
the
about
reason they
the
do it.
dome.
I think they keep, like, there's an ice ring around the world to keep people
Yeah.
falling off the edge. And I think they keep all the gold or oil. And it was like, it was so
Sure.
insane that we were just like, wait, we thought we were going to argue about, like, you know, how come the nose of the plane don't have to dive down if you're flying over a globe? We thought we were going to argue about how come the sun does it. And he's like over here talking about, yeah, that's where all the leprechauns hide the gold in Antarctica because that's what surrounds us. And we're like, what the fuck are you talking? Even DJ was like,
buddy.
huh? Well, all right, buddy.
When you out lunatic DJ, you've really done some shit.
We met the dude on a plane. Do you remember we were on a plane with some flat earthers and we were talking shit and then a dude was sitting right by us because they were on the way to a flat earth convention?
Yes, I at least
We
remember
were flying between gigs or something. We were in North Carolina or on our way, and the stewardess or somebody was like, "There's a flat Earth convention," and we were like, "Damn, a whole convention of them, huh?" And then this dude was like, he had like that kind of look. He was like, "Yep, we got a convention."
Crazy.
Yeah, and he was like, but he was like being nice, you know. He was like polite, and I remember we were all
Yeah.
like, "We don't."
So
want
like a Mormon eyes. Like
we were like, we don't want to talk to that guy. Yeah. He had Mormon eyes, and we told him we were comedians. Well, then we have him on the podcast, and he goes, good to see you again, Drew. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then he reminded me of it, and I was like, oh, shit, we did meet you on a plane. And I almost said, and I didn't talk to you because you have crazy eyes.
Sort of tying this flat earth thing to the Tucker Carlson thing at the top, like the dudes who are running these flat earth conventions, like the people who are profiting from like people signing up for like a weekend package at the fucking flat earth festival. Like what percentage of those dudes do you think actually believe in the flat earth, or they were just like, here's the easiest con in the world?
I think it's, instead of what percentage of dudes, it's how much they care or believe in it. So I think it's no different than Politicon. I think it's like, yeah, these dudes believe in flat earth, but I would say some of them like kind of got interested in it and they're good at podcasting, and they don't really give a shit. They're just like, oh, that was an interesting debate. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I guess.
And then some are gung-ho.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Politicon, because I was just thinking not long ago, like how much the political landscape has changed just since we did Politicon. Like the fact that we were in the same green room with Rob Reiner and Roger Stone. Like, I don't fit, like that was early on when they were just like, oh, we'll hear both sides. And then like, as the Roger Stones really showed who they were, I don't think a lot of these people are having joint fucking festivals together anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder what is going on at Politicon now.
I don't fucking know, but like just looking back on it, it's insane that we were in the same room with Roger Stone, because I don't see a situation in which that would ever happen right now.
No, not unless I get arrested for fraud, but I won't get caught.
No. Were you saying you're going to, like, you and Roger Stone are going to be in on it together? Or like, is he a lawyer?
Ain't he in jail? I was making it like, well, I'll be in the
Is he in jail? I didn't know if that stuck.
He got pardoned.
Didn't he got pardoned, I think, didn't he?
I think that's right, actually.
Pretty sure he did. Like right before Trump left or whatever, he pardoned a bunch of people, one of whom was Roger Stone.
Greatest
left
country.
Joe Exotic off the list, though, much to his chagrin.
Famously.
Felt very betrayed and backstabbed by that decision. But
do you think he would have let him off if he were not queer? Probably. Do you think that's why? Or do you think it's like he was famous for being a circus act, and I don't want to be associated with that anymore?
It is.
Well, even though it's hypocritical, the second thing, I think. Because
I think so, too.
Because I think they'd love to have another gay they could point to. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like Peter Thiel or whatever. Like, just the fact that he's gay, it doesn't matter. If he's a big Trump guy, it's like, see, we got another one. Isn't that great?
They want gays.
It's the second thing.
Yeah,
he's not a serious person, even though Trump
they
is
want gays,
unserious too.
And they want lunatic rednecks, but they can't have someone who is a gay lunatic redneck. Like, it's checking too many boxes at the same time. I was really surprised, because like it just seemed like the most Raven thing Trump could do would be to pardon that motherfucker, and there he still sits, I think, in jail. When's he get out?
Never, dude. It was attempted murder on top of something else, and they stacked him. I mean, he I think he got like 40 years, and your boy's like 60.
Yeah, right.
He had attempted murder on top of like tiger crimes, right? The rest of them were tiger crimes.
So many tiger crimes, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's more important to some people, I think.
Let me look up his. True. Well, yeah, especially because they hated Carol. Let me look up his release date.
I'm sure it's. I don't.
2036. That's possible.
Oh shit, he can make it. With science these days, of course, he'd have to believe in it, but it's, dude.
He's 59.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be 72 when he gets
now. You got to do meth. You got to do meth years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
He's 72 in meth years.
And like, it's not like that stops in jail,
But he kept fucking all them young butts. That probably keeps you, young, I would say.
And his own little Epstein Island.
That's what the Republican thinks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Barry Gordy always said, but about, young pussy. Instead. Yeah. So if the Barry Gordy doctrine holds true, but also for butts, then Joe Exotic probably canceled out some of his meth doing, is what I'm saying, in terms of the effect it would have on his...
Gordy doctrine.
The Barry Gordy doctrine. Yeah. We should make more money off this podcast. No one's saying Barry Gordy doctrine, but applied to butts. No one's doing that.
Nope.
Yeah, there's a Reddit that I follow called Brand New Sentence where people screenshot when they think something is the first time it was ever said. And I guarantee you that if someone scoured this podcast, they would find a billion instances of a first ever sentence.
Jeff Blank used to have a joke about that I saw him almost get his ass whipped over.
I know the one you're talking
exactly
about.
what you're talking about.
Here's a sentence you've never heard before.
And then he said, well, you can't say that. Not obviously, you're not going to say the word, but you got to tell people what he said. Or out.
Then he said, "Is that N-word still eating biscotti?" And he said it with a soft. He said it with a soft A,
not hard,
and a hip hop accent,
and while drunk.
And he said it as if
he's always drunk,
But he said it as if the person saying it was just very curious about his buddy. And man, it destroyed until one night it almost destroyed him.
Yeah, man, there was that time in comedy, and we all remember it, where like it was like, I don't know, it was like 2000 from 2009 to like 2014, 15-ish, where like the goal of every comedian was strictly to try to get away with saying something that you ought not be able to say. Like that was the pure fucking goal. Like it was
in there.
I know. I'm talking about myself.
Every comedian's goal. Every single one.
You know what I mean? Like every dude, like most dudes, at least, like that was just, especially open micers, like that was just the culture was like, you know, you had dudes, you know, that whole, what was that shit? Comedians Talking or whatever on HBO would just come out with Louis and Chris Rock or whatever.
It was Louis that did it. It was
definitely Louis
being the guy and influencing everybody.
100%.
In New York at the time, there was that, and then Amy Schumer. You know, so like 90% of the dudes were doing that. It was like a shittier version of Louis, and 90% of the women were doing a shittier version of Amy Schumer.
Yeah, and Blank got to ride out the good years, and then on when it changed, he had to be told after the show, hey, that's changed.
Yeah, I think that's a couple years after everybody stopped saying it while rapping.
We just outed our friend. Like we shouldn't have done that.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
about to out all of us too. So I'm about to even the fucking scales a little bit, because I've been thinking about trying to get into this some, but I don't know. But just this whole thing, like Mark was telling me about this like liberal white, I think comic or comedy writer or some dude he met out here who like swears up and down. And he's like around our age or Mark's age or somewhere in between. Swears up and down. He's never one time in his entire life said the N-word, right? Under any context.
Where's he from?
And I'm just like, I don't know where he's from, but I'm like, I know if you're 33-ish or older, right? And you're from, I think either white trash or suburban or
anywhere.
Backgrounds. Like, if you tell me
context,
you never said it in any context before, you are a goddamn liar. Because I know, again, Chris Rock used to have a bit about it. I'm sure he would rescind this now, but Chris Rock used to have a bit where he said, he's like, don't fuck up the drag. He had a whole bit about when can white people say the N-word, and he actually had exceptions in it. Some of them were like sarcastic and joking.
Well, yeah.
But he was like,
if a black guy comes up and robs you and then has diarrhea
at 3 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve, when you got it's very specific, and stomps you in the face and calls you a cracker-ass cracker and runs away with your child's only Christmas toy, whatever.
And only then can you say, somebody get that.
Stop that. Yes. Which is hilarious. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, there was a turning point somewhere in the past couple decades. I don't know exactly when it was white people were like, oh, damn. All right. Yeah, I guess we've all found out. Oh, okay. We can't do that either. Cause it's like, you know, you weren't going to, when I'm 14 and I'm going hard to DMX, who was
a god.
A god to me, my own personal John Lennon, as I've long attested. I wasn't going to bastardize his genius.
Of course not.
By fucking changing his art without his permission. You know, I'm just saying everybody did the same thing. I don't give a fuck what anybody says without thinking twice about it. And then at some point we all wised up and stopped. That's part of growth as a society and as a people. And it's fine to acknowledge it, but these people acting like it's just never fucking happened. You like go fuck yourself.
Yes,
I don't think true.
You saying people who act like they never did it, or people who act like that didn't happen, like we weren't all there for it?
Well, before you go on, just so you know, Mark's story that he tells about this guy ends with this guy saying the N-word in front of him at a bar later that night. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, dude, and like, it doesn't make your 14.
Oh my God, that's a Raymond Carver story, dude.
Like, it is stupid though that some people won't just say, like, they think like, oh, I can't even say that I did that at 14. Dude, that doesn't make you a bad fucking person. Like, we all learn. It's about, I mean, to me at least, it's about who you are in the present, not, you know, I mean, obviously, if you were a Nazi a year ago, you probably have a little bit more making up to do. But like, dude, we all did it. It wasn't fine, but we didn't fucking know that. You know what I mean? So like, just act like that. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it would be if you came on, you Trey Crowder, and were trying to act like you ain't had done that. I would believe even more so that you had done it. Yeah, right. It's like, but there are some people like, dude, dumbass Paula Dean in her court testimony, didn't she say that no, her whole thing was she actually said like, yeah, I've said it before, you know, and everybody was like,
of course she's a fucking southern mammal.
Yeah. Like, I think she should be applauded for having the balls to go, yes, I've said it before. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
I'm not, but
it's
dude,
funny to think of like
I haven't been super sure who you're arguing with the whole time. Like, you're like arguing with somebody in your head, and like that last point you made, I was like, yeah, you just lost the argument to the imaginary person right there.
I'm just saying, I would have lost respect for her had she said, no, I've never said it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, from a PR standpoint, she easily could have tried to act like she ain't, but she was like, you know what? Look at me. Duh. I said it. You know what I mean? She didn't say recently, although I'm sure it was recently. But, you know, like, there's no problem in being like, I wasn't as good of a person a while ago that I am now. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't. That
it's like you said about it not being okay, but us not knowing it. It's also like with my friends always, it was like in just rapping, it was like, it was never, dude, it was never
derogatory.
The hateful, derogatory, hard R papaw version ever. And so that's all we used to like. That was as much as we needed. Do you know what I mean? We're like,
of course.
But we're not doing it like that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, it's
which
cool.
is better.
It's cool. We're doing it this way. And then along the way, you find out like, no, that also is not okay. And then you're like, oh, all right. Well, okay. I'll stop doing that too. My bad. But yeah,
don't hit, but my bad.
Right. Yeah.
that was a hard day, man. I'm not gonna lie, because like there's no better way. There's no better way.
Died, you know, it's tough.
Like you would use it in innocuous situations, like inviting people to the movies. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Hey, y'all trying to go see a movie? You know,
ask if they want a Jolly Rancher. You know.
Yeah, but
you guys, we just don't. I cut out for a second, and I figured out what y'all are talking about. But for like 15 seconds just now, I was like, "What the fuck are they saying?" They used to say.
Well, we're hitting for me.
No, I got it now. I want you to think about what I thought y'all were saying. You used to say, Trey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gee golly.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I don't have any more on Tucker or any of that bullshit. So what fun things do y'all have to talk about or that happened to you this week?
I mean,
my special's doing well. Everybody watch that. Jeff Blink is calling me right now.
Get the fuck out of here. Put him on.
Weird.
Put him on.
Well, yeah.
No, do it. I can edit it. It's fine.
Okay.
Hello?
He's not going to do that anyway.
What are you doing? Can you can hear me, Corey and Trey? Can you hear Jeff?
Yes, we can.
He can't hear us.
I'm on speaker headphones, so you can't hear them, Jeff. But the reason I answered, we're recording the podcast, and we were literally just talking about you.
Wait, what?
Like, are you confused, or did you not catch all that?
No, I caught it, but talking about me how?
Not in a way that's great.
Dream about me.
Yeah, we did have a sex dream about you, buddy.
Did it finally happen?
Yeah, right all over your little ginger mustache. I'm gonna be honest, you may not like what we were talking about. We weren't talking shit. Well, we were talking about comedy changing, and then we were talking about how you used to have this great joke, but then somebody tried to fight you over it one night. Do you remember the biscotti joke?
Yeah. Absolutely. And they didn't try to fight me. They were just not happy about it. It was at Crawdaddy's in Cookville.
Yeah.
I remember it very vividly.
Yeah,
that was my show.
Too, because I got so drunk, I slept the whole way home while you drove.
Yeah, I know, and I was very mad because I had to drive Andy's car, and all they had was Budweiser at that bar. Well, or that's all they would give us, or whatever.
Yeah,
And, so I remember it vividly.
Well, Trey and Corey can hear you. I guess you are technically on the podcast right now. We can cut that out if you want, or you can say hi to WellRed.
Hey, guys. Also,
buddy.
Congratulations on babies, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
Corey says thank you. So, listen, I'm not cutting you off for any reason other than you not being able to hear them makes this like the dumbest call-in radio show of all time. So I'm gonna have to, end it is what I'm saying.
Plug your shit.
Absolutely.
Plug your shit real quick. If anybody's so far.
Actually, I'm doing Catacombs and Comedians in Knoxville on the 26th. I don't know if this will air before that because it's like 3 days away.
That's 3 days away. That's the day this airs.
Okay, so we're doing that at Central Cinema in Knoxville, where we're playing live D&D with Special Comics playing live D&D, and largely none of them have ever played D&D. And then
I'm still not.
It's very audience participation, so it should be fun. And then I'm doing the Don't Tell Comedy show in Knoxville as well on May 20th. And obviously it's the Don't Tell Comedy, so we don't know the location.
That's the night of our show.
But I'm doing that, so that should be
I don't head.
All right, buddy. Thank you for calling me, and I'm going to let you go. I cannot believe it's like you. Andy probably has some belief about this with her crystals about how we were synced up right there. I'll see you soon.
Hey, real quick. I don't think I've actually told you. Congratulations on baby.
Thank you.
Baby.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, well done. All right, well, I'll let you guys go. I love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Let me tell you about it.
I don't think I've told you this except for 30 seconds ago.
I think he meant that first one for you or something.
Yeah.
And then,
he said
and then
babies.
Also,
he said congrats on the babies.
So I didn't know if I was like, he's not talking to me, right? Mine's old.
Still congrats, though. Like, that's
sure
to be more, 11
anybody,
years later.
What you did
anybody can have them. Right. Yeah. Anybody can have them. You've kept them alive. Yeah. Like, that's the real.
Yeah, I should probably plug, now that I'm thinking of it, that I have a show Wednesday, the day this comes out, in New Orleans. I'm opening for some very cool bands. I think they're called Happy Talk and something Cattle. I should look more into that. But Loose Cattle? Loose
Happy
Cattle.
Talk
Hell
and
yeah.
Loose Cattle. Hell yeah.
Yeah, baby.
I do believe in that thing that Andy would tell you, though. Like, I genuinely do believe that Jeff Blank and you did have some sort of, because it's not, does Jeff call you all the fucking time?
Yeah, I mean, once a month, but not like once a week.
Because, like,
yeah,
that happens to me sometimes where, like, me and my wife will be having a conversation about somebody I ain't motherfucking talked to in years. And in the middle of the conversation, they'll start calling me. And it's there's that weird connection.
The funniest part is, like, what I was saying. That's so funny to think that's like the story I was telling about him. That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, it is funny.
The thing I put out, the special, a lot of the clips from it are doing pretty well on Instagram. For people who don't know, I put out a special about the Tennessee drag bill. And as it's going like viral, I'm getting a lot of comments from people who don't fuck with me and who don't fuck with me normally. And they're like, I don't know who you are. And that's been wild. I have so many comments of like, I live in Knoxville. I don't know who you are. It's like, man, we're doing a great job with our PR. And they're not like, oh, I know Trey Crowder and you tour. It's not even that. They're like, who the fuck is this? Maybe I'll come. Where's it at? The Bijou. So that's great. But secondly, the people who really don't fuck with me or us, man, there's so much genuine ignorance. And I don't know and I don't mean what you and I can do about it. I don't know what anyone could do about it. People are like saying that this bill is to prevent drag queens from dancing with their crotches in front of kids' faces. And they mean that like they mean the sky is blue. And it doesn't appear that they're the worst. It does appear that they're the dumbest. But like, I'm getting in like long talks where I'm like walking people through it. They're like, go read the bill. And then they like show me this part about prurient interest. And I'm like, that's cool. Here's what the rest of the bill says. And then like, it's that thing where you're invested in it. So it's hard for you to back off. But then they'll be like, oh, well, that just means like that. Like I'll point out, it also says that you can't be in public impersonating anyone of the opposite sex. I'd like to ask you how a police officer is going to apply that to, in this order, a drag queen walking down the street,
Halloween,
someone who they think is trans, or someone doing a powder puff football game thing as a joke. It is technically illegal to do those things. And they're like, no, but people are so dumb, but scared and angry. And like that calculus, that like Venn diagram, dude, it is to me the scariest thing about America right now. It is how the evil, shitty, awful, genuinely want to hurt people will get away with it. By convincing ignorant, dumb people that, look, we've got to arrest these people. They're trying to fuck kids.
Also, have you ever seen evidence of one of these drag brunches where a drag queen actually touches a child in an inappropriate way? Because, like, if that actually was happening at an alarming rate, I would be on the side of, they don't need to do that. But that's not fucking happening. And, like,
that's already illegal by other law.
Right, exactly. For both sex, whatever. And, like,
okay, but like winning that argument isn't the point. Like, how do we, not me and you, what can be done about the fact that people are so convinced by what? The media, Fox, I don't even know what it is, that this bill is about protecting kids.
I mean, I fucking have been saying for a long time, or I've recently believed it even more, that like that specific type of ignorance, like you literally can't do anything about it, because the other side has done sort of the church trick where they like whenever these people do hear someone saying facts and stuff, they are told to believe that that's just manipulation by George Soros and the fucking devil people, right? So like you can't do anything. And I frankly, in order to not be ignorant, you have to choose to not be ignorant, and the people don't want to do it. Like I did that for a long time in my life, where like there was a lot of shit that I didn't know, and I just thought, it's better if I don't know. I'd rather just live my life in this little bubble or whatever. You got to go out of your way to look at some things in the face, and dude, these specific types of motherfuckers are never going to do that. I think the only thing that you can hope to do is catch people who are just now kind of tuning into the world, trying to figure their way out, and be kind and compassionate, and hopefully I don't fucking know, dude, but this pure type, they do not want to believe anything different, because they have hate in their heart.
Maybe, but I'm talking about people who like watch RuPaul's Drag Race, or like because they're saying things in these comments like, I like drag shows, it's not a place for kids. And I'm like, yeah, those are at bars. There's already laws that say kids can't go there. Right. This law is about preventing drag queens from reading to children, and it's about trans people. It's so clearly targeted at just trans people or non-binary people. So, like, if you say to me that I have no problem with those people, I just don't want them putting their crotch in kids' faces, one would think we could be like, all right, well, that's not what's happening. So aren't you on my team now? And there's such a disconnect there. And I know that for some of them, it's because they don't want to admit that they're hateful. But it sure feels like for some of them, they really think that this law is for protecting. They really believe it's for protecting kids. And that's, man, maybe I'm naive. That's like a little gut wrenching.
No, it is. It's 100% gut wrenching,
but I don't think it. I mean, not to just say that you are naive, but I don't find it surprising at all. I mean, they do that. I feel like they do that with almost everything. Do you know what I mean? Like Corey was saying, like it's always they just want to and are intent upon saying things a certain way. And as far as like how do you get through that? Stereotypically speaking, the only way that any of that ever changes is if it actually affects them on a personal level. You know what I mean? Like they have. Whatever, they got a son who turns into a drag queen, and they get drugged to a fucking bar and see a show or something, and all of a sudden everything's different. I mean, but it's like that can't happen to all of them.
Well,
and that's like microscopic amounts of change or whatever. But I'm just saying, I genuinely believe, as defeatist as it may be, that for a lot of these people, it takes something like that to, I guess, make them see it any other kind of way, and nothing else works, which don't hit.
I guess my ignorance and naivete, though, like if you want to pinpoint it, it's like you tell these people they're locking up kids at the border, and also most Mexicans who come here aren't criminals. That's like it's if you look at the percentage, illegal immigrants have way less criminals inside that group than other blah blah blah, and they don't care, like they do not care. But I'm arguing with people that at least seem to me like fans of RuPaul. Like, and I guess in other words, it's not important to them, but it does seem to affect them. Like, it does seem like they still think RuPaul can come to Tennessee. And the thing is, if this ban went through legally, RuPaul could not in public.
No, and we talked about it last week basically by the letter of the law, men can't wear makeup. Like, right? That was like part of it.
That was in Texas, isn't it?
That's okay.
Yeah, that is in Texas. The only way
still. Yeah, right. But
they're all competing with each other for the same dipshit trophies.
But that's
the new Wabash Cannonball right there.
The only way that anybody's mind would be changed on that is if, like, they literally did arrest Travis Tritt at one of his concerts just for having fucking eyeliner on.
That's the other thing. Because we make all these points. We point out, it's like, so what about, a performer, a theater, a play, whatever, you got to wear makeup or all this other shit. Like, what about Halloween, all this stuff? But we all know that, like, or what about like the drag shows like we did for football in high school, like you mentioned, like we all know that the truth is, like, the answer to that question is that's all still going to be fine because none of that stuff is queer or queers doing it. Like, it's literally, it's always going to, even if it's by the letter of the law illegal, it's always going to be fine as long as it's straight people doing it. No one's ever going to care about any of that ever, no matter what these laws say. And it'll just be the queer versions that are,
by their
persecuted and prosecuted and everything.
Well, they even say that, like, Bill Lee's like, that's different. It's like, well, the law doesn't say that it's different, but he is acknowledging that he's saying out loud, like, yeah, I'm not going after those people. I guess where my ignorance came in, Trey, is it sure did seem like some of these people were a little bit more okay with queerdom. Like, for just there's no other way for me to, like, say it. Like, it sure seemed like we had, through pop culture, turned a tide, not on like crazy right-wing Christian people who show up with their guns and crosses, but just like regular-ass Americans. I'm telling you, there are regular-ass Americans in my comments being like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
So, there, on that note, it's because, dude, kids
that's the buzzword.
Do shit to some people that's wild, because before all this stuff,
they do it to the perverts. That's why we got to get rid of them.
There was QAnon, right? Yeah. Meaning, like, I know one lady personally, but I know there's been a bunch of other ones. But I met this lady who was like a sort of acquaintance of Katie's years ago. I met her. I mean, after I had already started hitting, after I went viral and everything, I met this lady who was an acquaintance of Katie's, and she was a huge fan of mine because she was like a liberal and shit. And, but she's a mom. And she's real hardcore about, we got to protect these kids, right? So QAnon becomes a thing, and it's like, they're hurting kids. There's like a global child sex trafficking ring. And I made a brief little internet sketch about this, about how, like, as a dad, I understand how somebody hears that and goes like, well, that's a serious fucking problem. People should care about that. But what I don't get is when you then go, tell me more. And they start talking about fucking adrenochrome and vampires and Bill Gates and Tom Hanks and all this shit. I don't know how you then don't go, okay, you're insane, I'm out. But some people didn't. Like this lady. This lady's like, she was this liberal woman who super loved her kids, cared about kids, finds out there's a problem, kids are in danger. She starts looking behind the curtain. QAnon's behind the curtain. Next thing you know, she's fully down the rabbit hole and gets sucked into it. And I think it's maybe a similar thing with some of the types of people you're talking about, where it's like, when it comes to kids, and it's like, if, the implication that children are in danger can, however much bullshit it may be, can cloud their judgment or reasoning or something like that, just makes people be different.
Yeah, I mean, pedophilia should always
Yeah.
be taken very fucking serious, obviously. But like nowadays, they try to act like pedophilia is like on the rise. There's a brand new spike in it. There's more now than ever. And this didn't used to happen back in the day, blah, blah, blah. When it's like, first off, yeah, it did. There wasn't the Nextdoor app and there wasn't Facebook and shit. So you only heard about it if it happened to somebody close to you. Secondly, like, dude, have you seen the dudes that get arrested for pedophilia these days? Like, half of them is 70. Do you think that they just in the back 40 of their life was like, I think I'm going to spend it fucking kids? No, they was doing it in the 90s too. You know what I mean? Like, they were amateurs. They just started out, clearly veterans now. But like the part that pisses me off is when everyone we look at pedophilia and we can't, there's not one goddamn thing in this country that we can just not blame on a fucking political party. You know what I mean? Like, we all should give a shit about pedophilia. And like every liberal that I knows, it don't hit for them, the pedophile racket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like these fucking people want to act like the real pedophiles are the liberals out there in fucking drag and shit. And it always comes down to pedophile shit. And it's like they're just people who like dressing up and singing Lady Gaga. That's it. Period.
Hey, man. Can't do no better than that. Watch my special. We're almost to 69,000, and I want that.
Nice. Hell yeah. Go, Drew. Yeah, it's called Tennessee's a Drag. It is on YouTube.
Yeah, I said if it didn't get to 100 in a week, I was going to put it on Trey's, and if he's still up for that, I might do that. 70's close, though.
Yeah, it's pretty
I don't
close.
think you want to. I mean, now that you've gotten like some momentum on your own page with that one, because you don't want two up and you don't want to take that one down either.
Yeah,
I'll
I would
do it if you
definitely,
want me
I
to
would
do it,
definitely
but
wait
I
a week.
wouldn't-
I think
Yeah.
we
Put a
leveled
clip
off. But I'm
on
hoping
that,
some people
motherfucker.
listen right now haven't watched it and they go and then they cycle it back through. But anyway, it's just been, I don't know, man. I was surprised because I thought I was going to get a lot of like dumb, and I did get a lot of dumb groomer this and you hate it, whatever. But I also got like these people who seem thoughtful. It just really sucked.
It
Yeah,
does
man.
suck, but come see us do comedy. And so go to TreyCrowder.com and check out the shows. I'll be in Alabama this weekend, and then the three of us will be in Arkansas, along with Corey's wife and child, but they won't be on stage though. But, and then also next month, Knoxville and Asheville and a bunch of shit after that. So yeah, and watch Weekly Skews with me and Smart Mark AG.
Yes. And Putting on Airs with me and Trey, and Gravy Baby with Drew, Carmen Morales, and DJ Lewis. And also go holler at parttimefunnyman.com and subscribe. I'm putting out daily lunacy and silliness in forms of essays and videos and all that stuff. Thank you all for listening to the WellRed Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew.
Howdy there, well-read fans across the Skewniverse. It's your boy Trey Crowder here. Just want to take an opportunity to let you know about a couple of things that I think you might think are cool. Just some things to let you know about in case you don't already know about them. I'm talking about, in particular, Weekly Skews, hosted by me and Smart Mark AG. If you're into my political musings, and I assume many of you are, well, it's all politics all the time podcast. That's what Weekly Skews is. Mark reads and knows stuff. I learn and react to stuff. We have a good time. We do the show live every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific on my social pages. But also you can get it as a podcast wherever you get your podcast from, or you can watch it on my YouTube channel. You don't have to be there live. Check it out either way. Also, if you would like to check out some of the bonus stuff I got going on, you can go to patreon.com/Trey Crowder. I got a bunch of stuff on there for my patrons. You got multiple tiers. I do news reaction videos. I learn the news of the day, react to them in real time, rant and rave, do my thing. We have interviews with other blue sheep, people like Corey, Drew, Smart Mark, my sister, you name it, all kinds of fun people, Brent Terhune. And we explore the background of my political opinions, as well as reviewing many of our country's worst politicos, all that. Plus I do audience Q&As and bonus Weekly Skews episodes, all at my Patreon. It's also just a nice way for you to support your boy. So if you'd like to check out the wares over there, go to patreon.com/Trey Crowder and do so. And then lastly, one-stop shopping for me. If you want to come see me live, which I sure would appreciate, or you want to check out me and the guys' Amazon specials, you can find all that by going to TreyCrowder.com. Last but not least, I love you like chicken. Thank you for being here and enjoying the WellRed podcast. And we'll keep doing it if you keep listening to it, baby. See you. Love you. Bye.
Hey guys, it's your boy, Corey Ryan Forster. I'll be short and sweet. PartTimeFunnyMan.com is where you can get bonus stuff from me. Got bonus podcasts, bonus videos, essays, stories, all sorts of cool stuff. It is $5 a month, but if you can't afford that, it's free. Either tier, you get the same stuff. It's just if you have the money to pay for it, it'd be cool if you did that. But if you don't, it's fine. You can get it for free. You can also make a one-time donation to the show on PayPal using buttercreamcorey@gmail.com. It's a really cool thing. I'm adding new cool stuff all the time. There's about to be a whole brand new podcast over there called Oh Yeah Daddy, where I exploit the fact that I am now a dad and becoming quite the cliche one. So we'll talk about cliche dad stuff. You can get it everywhere soon, but it'll be up at parttimefunnyman.com before it's up anywhere. Parttimefunnyman.com. Subscribe, support me, love me, love me. For the love of God, love me. I need it. Love y'all. Parttimefunnyman.com. Well, he's a part-time funny man. He does stand up when he can, but he wants to stay at home and raise his kid. So he sits behind his computer and he does this. Classy.